So after a great success of our master's degree in Australia for international students video, we were requested to create a similar video for the bachelor's degree as well. We couldn't do it for a very long time, but here it is now. So in this video, we will give you a complete guide about bachelor's degree for international students in Australia, including the requirements, type of courses available, the duration, the cost, post-study work visas, and many more things. So if you want to know all these things, make sure to stick around till the end. So let's get started with our first section of the video, which is about the requirements to study your bachelor's degree in Australia. So we'll start with the academic requirements first. In order to study a bachelor's degree program in Australia, you must have completed your senior secondary school, which is your year 12 or equivalent in your home country. Now, in terms of English language requirements, many international students need to complete some sort of an English test before coming for studies in Australia. And for bachelor's degree, you can complete your IELTS, PTE, TOEFL with an average score of around 6.0 in your IELTS test scores, with no less than 6.0 in each of the 4 components of the test. Or it should be equivalent to these scores in other tests if you are planning to take PTE or TOEFL. Apart from that, in order to study, you would need to have a student visa, which is usually subclass 500. In order to apply for a student visa, you must meet a lot of different requirements, such as genuine student test, your health and character requirement, and financial requirements as well. You'll need to demonstrate that you have enough financial capacity to study in Australia. Of course, there are more requirements than that for a student visa. So if you need further details, we will leave a link to the Department of Immigration where you can check more details about student visa. Let's look at the types of bachelor degrees available in Australia. There are 2 main types of bachelor degrees you can do. The first one is just bachelor degree, and the second one is bachelor degree with honors. The major difference between the two is that with the bachelor degree with honors, you will need to complete an additional year, and usually you'll have to do a research in that additional year. But completing that additional year could help you to get into the research degrees in the future. Now, in terms of the duration of these bachelor degrees, typically a bachelor's degree is around 3 years. But for some specialized courses and bachelor degree with honors, it will take you 4 years to complete it. Now let's look at some of the popular courses in bachelor's degree. Of course, international students can pretty much study any course they would like to study in Australia for their bachelor's, but these are some of the really popular ones. That includes business and commerce, engineering, health sciences and medicine, creative arts and design, social sciences and education. Of course, there are many other degrees like law, agriculture and so on. They're very popular as well, but the ones we just mentioned earlier, they are some of the most popular among international students. The reason why some of these courses are actually popular because of the high demand of these courses in Australia. So some students, after completing their degrees in these courses, can help to fulfill those in-demand jobs in Australia. Now, in terms of popular universities, there are obviously 42 universities you can study in Australia. Apart from that, there are many other private education providers who provide these bachelor degree programs as well. But in terms of the top 5 universities to complete your bachelor's degree, they are University of Melbourne, University of Sydney, Australian National University, University of Queensland, and University of New South Wales. If you check some of the popular university rankings, these 5 universities are Australia's top 5 universities in those rankings. And there are thousands of international students and domestic students study in these universities. Of course, if these universities are popular and highly ranked, their cost will be higher as well to study in. And that is our next topic, which is about cost of doing your bachelor's degree in Australia. Now, first, let's talk about the tuition fee, which is probably the most important thing that students want to know. Now, as you can imagine, the tuition fee varies from one university to other. Some universities, they are highly ranked, they cost way more for the similar courses. However, some other universities that may not be that popular, they might be charging less for the same course. But of course, the quality of the education in those providers will be different as well. Now, if you talk about on an average annual tuition fee for a bachelor's degree program, it can cost you anywhere from $20,000 to $45,000 per year. And no, we are not talking about some of those high-end expensive courses such as medicine or law. They cost way more than that. But most of the other courses can fall between these ranges. So around $20,000 to $45,000 per year. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the duration of the bachelor's degree is around 3 years. So if you multiply these numbers, by 3, you could end up spending $60,000 to $135,000 for your bachelor's degree in Australia. And that is just for the tuition fee. Of course, there are other additional expenses you need to be mindful as well, such as your living cost. That includes your accommodation, food, transport, and other living expenses. That will be on an average between $20,000 to $30,000 per year. You'll also need to have a health cover, which is known as Overseas Student Health Cover. That's around $500 per year for singles. Of course, if you are coming with your family or you are a couple, that will cost you more. And you also have to be mindful of your student visa fee, which is around 1,600 Australian dollars, and travel cost, which will include your airfare, baggage, and other things you need to buy for traveling to Australia. So these are some of the costs you need to be mindful of. Of course, you can do some maths on this and work out how much it will cost you on an average to complete your bachelor's degree in Australia. Of course, it seems quite expensive in terms of the cost of studying, but the good news is there are scholarships available for international students who want to study in Australia. Now, there are 3 different categories we can divide these scholarships in. The first one is the university-based scholarships. So these are the scholarships offered by the universities themselves to international students. Many universities in Australia offer different type of scholarships to international students. Some of the popular ones include Melbourne International Undergraduate Scholarship and Deakin Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. Some of these scholarships can actually cover heaps of your tuition fee. Just keep in mind that most of these university scholarships are based on merit, which means you need to be a really good student in order to score these scholarships. However, some universities that are not that popular might offer some different type of scholarships as well for international students. And you need to check the specific criteria for these scholarships on the website of a university you're planning to study. Apart from the university scholarships, there are government scholarships as well that you can take advantage of. So some of the popular ones include Australia Awards and Destination Australia. Australia Award is one of the most popular scholarship program offered by Australian government. It covers not only just your tuition fee, but also covers your living expenses and other expenses as well. Hands down, it is one of the best scholarship out there. But the thing is, it's not available for every single country. It's only open around February to April. So you need to be quick if you're planning to apply for this scholarship. We have details on this scholarship on our website as well. So please feel free to check the details on our website. We'll leave a link of that in the description box below. Apart from these, there are private organizations that also provide scholarships to international students. Some of these could be like international organizations like Rotary Club or UNICEF, sometimes offering scholarship to international students to study overseas. Please feel free to check the website of these foundations or these non-profit organizations to find if there are such opportunities available for studying in Australia. Now, if you want to know more about some scholarships that international students can take advantage of, we have got a fully funded scholarships offered by different organizations on our website. And I highly recommend you to check the page by clicking the link in the description box below. And one of my personal suggestions will be to ask your education agent also before applying for any university in Australia. There could be some special promotions or offers offered to international students when they're applying for specific universities. So please ask your education agent before applying for any university. Now let's look at the best time to apply for your bachelor's degree in Australia. So universities in Australia offer 2 major intakes. The first one is February, March, and the second one is July intake. There is a third intake also, which is called as summer semester. It's not as popular as there are only few seats available in most of these universities in that summer semester. In order to apply for these intakes, so the first intake, which is the main intake of the year, it's February, March. You need to be applying it by November or December. Ideally anytime before mid-December, because most of the universities will go on holidays after that time frame. And for second semester, which is July intake, you can apply around April or May, but no later than May for sure. And for summer semester, because it varies from one university to other, you can apply around August or September. Again, you have to check with the university if they're actually offering any summer semester or not. Now, quickly looking at the part-time work opportunities for international students who are planning to study their bachelor's degree in Australia. So in terms of work rights, international students are allowed to work 48 hours per fortnight, when their study is in session, which means they can work around that many hours in a fortnight while they are studying in Australia. Except during the official holiday time frame, they can work unlimited hours during those holidays. But just keep in mind that this is only for the official school break. And in terms of some of the popular jobs for students who are planning to study here, that includes hospitality, retail, warehouse, farm, and construction work as well. And if you want to work in some of these fields, you may need to do certain short courses as well. And if you want to know further about short courses, we have a complete video on that, and we will leave a link of that in the description box below as well. Now, last but not the least, one of the most commonly asked question is post-study work visas after completing your bachelor's degree in Australia. So just a quick disclaimer here, we are not a migration agency and we can't advise people on their migration intentions. But we are going to give you a very general information about these post-study work visas. So generally, after completing bachelor's degree in Australia, international student can opt to apply for a post-study work visa, also known as temporary graduate visa, subclass 485. This allows students who have completed their bachelor's degree to stay in Australia for a while and get some further work experience. Typically, the duration of this post-study work visa can be from 2 to 3 years, and it can also depend upon if you are in a regional location, you could get a further extension for 1 year as well. The duration for some of these bachelor degree program holders can vary depending upon the nationality as well. So it's a good idea to check further detail on the Department of Home Affairs website regarding that. And there were few changes in terms of these post-study work visas recently made. So I highly recommend you to check one of our previous videos on that topic. If you want to know more about it, we'll leave a link of that in the description as well. And of course, after completing bachelor's degree program and also getting some work experience during the temporary graduate visa, some students end up applying for their permanent residency as well. Of course, it's a completely different ball game and we are unable to advise on how to apply for that. But you're welcome to check further details on the Department of Home Affairs as well, what sort of pathways are available for students who are completing their bachelor's degree in Australia. Ideally, I suggest you to speak to a registered migration agent if you have any intentions to apply for permanent residency in the future. They might suggest you which courses might work better for you if you have such intentions. But hopefully this video give you quite a lot of details regarding completing your bachelor's degree in Australia. Now I would love to hear what sort of bachelor degree are you planning to study in Australia. Leave a comment below with the name of the degree you're planning to study. Now you might not know that there are different type of degree programs available in Australia for international students. If you are planning to study in Australia, I highly recommend you check this video here where I talk about different type of degrees you can complete even before completing your bachelor's degree program. So click that video there and I shortly will see you over there.